been a soggy week, a very soggy week, and today it's sunny and it's dry and it's great, except that we have a storm. So it's incredibly windy and I am not going to the plot today. I have been down a couple of times this week to do a few little bits and pieces, but I haven't filmed it because it's been chucking it down. So I didn't want to get my camera wet. So you've got me here today and we're home and it's cosy and warm and I've got a cup of Yorkshire tea, which is too hot out, and and we're going to talk about seeds and what seeds I'm going to be sowing this month. So the first thing we're going to talk about is flowers. I have been to the garden centre this week and I only went for compost. Famous last words. And I ended up picking up something that I've never grown from seed before. I've always grown them. I didn't grow them last year, but I normally do. But I usually get them from either my mum sows them and gives me some, or I buy them from the garden centre, and that is sweet peas. And I've got 3 varieties. I don't know why. I didn't need 3, but I got 3. The first thing was this perfume duet. Now, the reason I did buy more than one variety is because I bought this for the scent because it's very heavily perfumed and I love the smell of sweet peas. So I bought it for that reason. But the colour palette's quite limited. Nice, very lovely, but I wanted some purples in there as well. So then I ended up buying these Twilight. So that would have been enough really, wouldn't it? You know, that'd have been fine, but no. I went in for these Galaxy Mixed as well. So yeah. So we're gonna have a lot of sweet peas, but that's all right because I really do love them. And I might grow some for the garden here as well. I have a nice little obelisk with some sweet peas growing up them. I think get blown over today though. It's horrendous out there, so we'll put those in there. And then the other thing that I'm going to grow in the next week or so, probably today or tomorrow to be honest, is antirrhinums. I've got a few different types. The first ones I've got are Red Admiral. Now I've grown these before and they were supposed to get to 1.2 metres, it says on here. They were nowhere near. They were like not even a foot tall, but they were really, really nice. I love antirrhinums, snapdragons. I think they're so nice. And we've got 2 packs of Tom Thumb mixed, which have obviously both come with a magazine. I'll tell you about that in a minute actually. And these are dwarf varieties, I think. Yeah. Compact bushy plants for beds, edges and planters. And yeah, 25 centimetre tall. So yeah, they were nice though. And then I've got Magic Carpet, and I've got from Real Seeds, I've got tall mixed coloured snapdragons. Yeah, so they look okay. I bought all my antirrhinums last year, so I did have a go with some of them, but I don't know. Last year we had a bit of a problem with seeds. So the early seeds that I sowed, things like aubergines, chilies, antirrhinums, they germinated really well. They got to a certain size and then they just stalled for weeks and weeks. And in the end, I ended up buying alternate replacements and not bothering to continue to grow them on. Now, this year, because we've spent a fair bit of money on these raised beds that we're going to be replacing, I'm hoping not to do that. So I'm hoping that we get more success from the seeds that we've got. Right, so let's talk about vegetable seeds. Now, I've only got a small selection in front of me of what I'm going to be growing. And these are things that I'm sort of more thinking about sowing in January and February. I need to go through the rest of my seeds and work out what I'm going to be sowing next month. But these are the only seeds that I'm even considering this month. So, not all of them, just a small selection. So while I'm talking to you now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to work out which varieties I am going to sow and which I'm not. So what's happened this year? Since the autumn last year, I've been thinking about varieties of things that I wanted to grow and watching lots of videos and taking advice and also going with old favourites and doing my research myself. And so I've bought some seeds and then I've gone into my pantry and I've got out my old seed collection and I've gone through it and I found that I've got quite a few duplicates. So I think one of the first things I'm going to go for is aubergines, because I've bought 2 varieties of aubergines this year. There we go. So I've bought, the first thing I bought, and this was the only aubergine I intended to sow this year, I got Black Beauty. And I've grown this one before. I've grown it bought from plug plant and I've grown it from seed. and I've had a good amount of success with it. I've never had a really productive aubergine. Maybe 2 or 3 fruit per plant is the maximum I've ever had. So I keep hoping because I do really like aubergines. I used to hate them, but since I started growing them myself, I really, really like them. This is a new to me variety. Now, I went to the garden centre the other day to buy compost, like I said, and I ended up buying the sweet peas, and I've also ended up buying another variety of aubergine. This is Baby Jack, and it's a small plant, compact, incredibly compact and fruitful, which sounds amazing, to be honest. And it says it's perfect for 2 litre pots, which I thought would be great on the potting bench in the greenhouse, and also in here, in the garden here at home as well. I thought that would be really good. So we can do those 2 for definite. Now, when I sorting out my seeds, I found that I had quite a few other packs. So the first thing is this long early purple 2, Dorger white, Czech early, and Coulon eggplant. Now these 3 in particular are ones that I've obviously researched last year and chose them for specific reasons, and the reason for all of them is that they work well in the British climate. Now the only one of these that I've actually grown before is Dorger. I don't know if I'm playing that right, so I apologise if I'm not, but it's a white aubergine, and they were really, really nice. I didn't get many of them. I grew them about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago maybe, at home. Didn't get loads, but the ones I got were, yeah, they were just really, really nice. And that's the aubergine that really made me like aubergines, actually. That when I found out I wasn't cooking them properly and I wasn't cooking them enough, and if you cook them for longer, they do taste so much nicer. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to sow all 3 of these as well. And I don't want to leave just one guy out. I mean, what's he done wrong? So I think we will sow those and see. Now, I did buy my aubergines last year. I bought them as grafted plants, actually, because I sowed seeds and they didn't do very well. I ended up buying the aubergines again, and I ended up with 3 plants. I think I had 3. One of them just never really grew very well. The other 2 were reasonably productive. I say that, reasonably productive. What's reasonably productive? I think I got about 3 aubergines off 2 plants. I don't think that's reasonably productive, is it? They were black pearl, those ones. Nice though, nice, like, enjoyable. So next, we're going to think about chilies. Now, the only chili I intended to grow this year was jalapeno. The only one I wanted to grow. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. And so I picked this up online the other day, just one jalapeno. However, I then discovered that I had several varieties in my seed collection. So I got a couple of jalapenos already. I'll grow the one I've bought this year, and if anybody wants jalapeno, they can have that. Now, when my husband goes to the supermarket, he will often pick me up gardening magazines if he sees them. And what he does as well is he forgets which ones he's bought me sometimes. So sometimes I've been known to have the same magazine 3 times in a month. And they often come with like 10 packets of free seeds. So sometimes I get a lot of duplicates. And I think when you get them free with a magazine, you often get quite, popular varieties anyway, so you might get them a few different times in different magazines, so there might be 2 or 3 magazines that he gets me in a month, and then if he gets me them both 1 or 2 times, 2 or 3 times, then I'm gonna have a lot of seeds. Does anybody else have a ridiculous seed collection? I mean, I sorted my seeds out last year and I had over 400 seed packets. I don't know how many I've got this year, but quite a lot still, because I just don't like parting with them. And if I can give them to somebody, I would give them to somebody. I've sent them to people, I've given them to a gardening group once. I'll offload them on anybody who will take them. But I just don't feel like I can throw them away. They're just not, I don't know, they're too precious. So we've got Cayennetta, which I think is like a dwarf. Yeah, ideal for baskets and containers. I don't know, I'm tempted. Produces up to 300 fruits per plant. Well, got to grow that then, haven't we? So we're growing Cayennetta. So I'm not going to put cayenne. We'll put cayenne down then, because we're not bothered about those if we're growing cayenne. I don't think I need more than 300 plants. 300 peppers. Definitely don't want 300 plants. So then we've got Padron. Now I remember growing these, and these are the ones that, yeah, Russian roulette of chilies. So 1 in 10 on the same plant are crazy hot. And I've heard that they're really nice roasted. I don't know, let me know, is that true? Yeah, and then the other one, Chinese dragon tongue hot pepper. Now, I think I bought this one. I'm sure that this one has got a really thin skin and thin flesh, so it's good for drying. I'm pretty sure, yeah, dries fairly easy, so it is a great one to grow and hang up on a string for use all year round. So I'm gonna have to grow that one as well, aren't I? So my 1 variety of chilies has turned into 4 varieties of chilies. Things escalate quickly. Next up, we got sweet peppers. Oh well, sweet peppers. I went and bought California Wonder, and then I got home and found I had California Wonder. This won't be the first time I say this. And then I've got Red King and Sweet Black Knight. I don't think I'm gonna bother with those ones, and I'll just need 1 packet of the California Wonder. These seeds are from a pack that my brother and sister-in-law very kindly bought me last year as a birthday present. But I got them, he gave me them sort of like, I think it was like April or something. Actually, my birthday's in January, it's on Sunday. But he actually gave me it in like April or something, so I'd kind of already done my sowing by that point. But so I would like to sow as many of them as possible this year. There's 0.5 grams in there, it doesn't tell you how many. But there's 60 in here. It sounds like there's more in here, so I don't think we're going to need all of them, but we'll pop those in there. So that's that. Now, onions. So I'm going to put the seeds that I'm not going to use over here. Don't need those. Onions. I again did the same again. Bought a few seeds intentionally, and then got home to find that I had a lot more. So the ones that I bought intentionally are Elsa Craig, and I bought these for sowing now. And I got Red Baron. I've grown these before, but I've and had good success. So this one as well, this is Long Red Florence, and this is one that Danny from Grow Up Channel suggested. And this is torpedo shaped bulbs with a deep red colour and a mild sweet flavour. A very reliable variety from Italy. Can either be pulled young as spring onions or left to mature. Now I love that fact. That makes it a really good one. And if you only ever want to sow one onion seed, an onion that can be used as a bulb or as a spring onion is really good. And he said it makes really nice onion gravy. And being from Yorkshire, it is, you know, we've got to like Yorkshire puddings, and I do like a bit of onion gravy on my Yorkshire pudding. And also the other thing about this is that Florence is my youngest daughter's name. So if there is a plant called Florence, I'm buying it. I even grow Florence fennel every year, and I hate fennel. Right now, so these are the varieties that I have got as well. So, Red Baron, what's this one? Stuttgarter Riesen. Can you tell I did German A-level? Stuttgarter Riesen. No, I can't either. I just want to say, for the record, that I failed A-level German, actually. I got Silver-Skinned de Paris, and then I've got Riensberger. Is it Riensberger? It's a Dutch variety. I don't speak Dutch. Yeah. I've bought this. No, this is a Kitchen Garden magazine. I haven't bought it. So that's those ones. So I'm not going to do these ones because I've already got 1 pack of Red Baron, and there's 75 seeds in there, 150 seeds in that one, and how many have I got in this one? 150. We don't need any more than that, do we? So we'll put these ones with the ones we're not growing this year. Now I am going to try and find a new home for these ones because, you know, some of them have been with me a couple of years now, so yeah. So when I went to the garden centre, I picked up these spring onions. These are White Lisbon. I've grown this many times before. It's really, really good. I generally will multi-sow these and plant them out in little plugs, and then I'll either pick out the largest of the plug and gently so I don't damage the other ones, or I'll just pull them up as a clump. And they work really, really well. I used to grow them, before I got the allotment, I used to grow them in little 1 litre tubs, little pots. I had them dotted about in between other pots. It was really, really successful, and Yeah, so we've got 650 seeds in this pack, which is probably going to be enough, but just in case it isn't, when I got home I discovered I had 3 other packets of them with 325, 325 and 800 seeds, so I think we're going to be good for spring onions. But if we're not good with those ones, I also, when I checked out my seed collection, found that I've got 3 packs of evergreen bunching spring onions with 175 seeds in each. And if we still don't have enough spring onions, I've got Ishikura, which is a really good one as well. I didn't find these as, I was going to say productive, they're not productive in a sense, but I didn't find these grow as quickly or as, you know, as well as the other ones. These are sow by September 2023, so you can see I've had these for a while. I'm probably not going to sow these now, but we might do. I don't know. But I'm just going to put this one in for now, and I know I can come back to these if I so desire. So, and lastly, let's talk about leeks. Now, again, Danny's suggestion. I got 2 that he suggested. I'm pretty sure he said these were new to him, but they're kind of like a blue variety, so they're good for early sowing. And I've got Below Zero F1 Hybrid, and I've got Blue de Soleil. And got 1,000 of these in here, so I think we'll be okay for those as well. 50 in here. Anyway, I think we're going to have more of one than the other then. I'm going to follow Danny's advice, and I'm actually going to sow some next month in the polytunnel. So I'm not going to sow these in January, but I'm going to do these in the polytunnel, and yeah, do them in February and then plant them out into the garden, into their final spaces when they've grown up a little bit. So that's that. But then when I got home, I found all these. Now, let's take my German for a spin again. Blaugrüne Winter. Blaugrüne Winter. But winter, wouldn't it? Blue-green, that means. I don't think that's not German, because German's grün. Grün. Eh? Blau. Grün. But these are grüne. So these are, I don't know. I won't be teaching anyone to speak any different languages. Anyway, that's for sure. So, yeah, I'm not going to do those. Then I've got Bulgars, Grützen, Autumn Giant 2, Autumn Giant 2 Argenta, Elephant. So yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll do these. Yeah, also by December 2025. I don't always go by the dates on the seeds. You know, some seeds will last for years and some are pants the following year. So those ones are probably not ones I'm going to do. Have I? Yeah. So just those 2. I mean, I am a bit of a collector when it comes to any of my hobbies. I crochet and I have so many balls of yarn. I like certain kinds of china. I have some 1940s china, utility china. You'll have all seen it throughout your lives if you're in the UK. I have that collection. I'm just somebody who, when I get into something, I want to have them all, and so it's very difficult for me to sort of pare it down a little bit, but that's something I want to do this year. Instead of growing lots of varieties of one particular thing, I'd like to just grow more things, you know. I didn't really grow a great deal last year because a lot of my seedlings failed, and then I didn't buy replacements for everything, just some of the things. But this year I really want to have more variety, rather than varieties, more variety. Like I want to grow sweet corn this year, for example, which we'll talk about in a later video, because I've only had the plot for 1 year, and last year was a bit of a pants growing season. Previous to that, I've grown in my garden at home, and my garden is only 56 square metres. So, and I've got young children, so I couldn't take up as much as I would have liked to have done. I couldn't turn the whole garden into a kitchen garden, essentially. So I grew in pots, and I grew things that were productive. So I didn't grow things like brassicas, really. I grew a few turnips, actually, and Swedes dotted in and amongst the floral borders. And I did grow an Asturian tree cabbage. I didn't actually eat any, but the caterpillars tell me it was quite delicious. But most of the things I grew were things like beans, tomatoes, chilies, aubergines, courgettes. I grew some potatoes in buckets, and I grew a lot in the sort of B&Q £1 buckets. And so things like sweet corn and a lot of brassicas are not things that I've really grown before. Obviously grew brassicas last year and had some good success with it. Got a bit of broccoli, had some really nice cauliflowers. Cabbages were great. Cabbages, I can't remember all the varieties, but the cabbages were Galvatron. So I don't know if that's a clubroot resistant variety, but it certainly grew really well in my clubroot infested plot. Speaking of clubroot, moving on from clubroot, I have got these here. These are my brassicas. Now, the majority of these are seeds that I got from magazines. In fact, it could all be, to be honest. But last year, I bought some clubroot resistant varieties, which again, we'll talk about in another video when I sow them. But I never ended up growing them last year because my dad gave me some varieties that were really good and did really well. So I have all these brassicas that I'm probably never going to grow at the allotment. So when I was binge watching on, watching Kerry at Dog on the Plot about a week or two ago, I saw her talking about microgreens. Now I'm aware of microgreens, I know what they are and everything, but I've never ever considered growing them. They're just not something I was ever interested in. But it would be a really great way to grow these and not waste them, because literally there's like 800 seeds in this pack, 300, 100, 250. There's literally thousands of seeds here. And yeah, I'm running out of people to palm seeds off on, so I think that it would be really nice to grow some microgreens. So I might have a go at that in a future video. The video won't be entirely about that because I have heard that people don't particularly care for videos on microgreens, but we will do some because I really don't like to waste these seed packets. So yes, and that's it. So I also got myself a lovely little notebook. I need a diary really as well. I need to get a diary because I like to write down the dates that I sow things and make a note. And I also seem to have a pack of Abina Malariensis in here. So I'll be sowing those in February because I absolutely love these and I would like to have some at the plot. I do have a few, but a couple of plants, but not much. So I'll be doing that as well. So I'll put that in there to grow for this year. I am very excited to get going. So in my hallway at the moment, there is a tub with compost in. It's near the radiator, seed compost. It's warming up because it's been stored outside. I brought it in when I bought it, put it on the floor, and then noticed this massive puddle. All the water had run out of it and gone everywhere. So it made a right mess. And I've got 13 boxes of raised beds in my hallway. So my house is upside down at the moment, and it's only going to get worse because sowing season is beginning. So I'm going to go to the shed now, and I am going to get out my propagators, and then I'm going to try and find my grow lights. And my grow lights are not the best. I have always ended up with quite leggy seedlings. I follow the instructions, I do my research, but they are like 20 quid grow lights on Amazon, and I don't know if they particularly are the best ones. So we'll see how we get on this year. So I think what I'm going to make is like a foil, get a cardboard box, and because I've got loads of those, and just kind of make like a foil surround to trap that light and make it extra bright, and see how we get on this year. Yeah. So if you've got any suggestions for grow lights that are good, let me know, because I think, I've bought these cheap ones, and if the seedlings don't do well and I end up having to buy new seedlings, then there's no sense in having the cheaper ones if I should be investing in something a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking very expensive here. I don't want to spend a fortune, but investing in something a little bit better that's perhaps going to last a bit longer. So if you do have any suggestions, please do let me know. Now it's going to brave that weather and go and get the propagator. Whew, wow. The wind is horrendous. So I've been out to the shed. God, why didn't I wash this before I put it away, honestly? Filthy. So, that's where my grow lights are. I didn't realise they were in the shed. So this is the type they have, like 4 heads and 5 heads. I think it's a Stewart heated propagator. Now I do have a Garland Super 7 as well. So I will probably end up using that as well. Yeah, one of my I've just discovered, being outside, that I've got a smashed roof tile on the floor, which is not ideal. So I need to go and have a look, because I'm hoping that's come off my porch and not off the main roof. But yeah, this needs a good scrub, and I will also get this on quite a bit before I need it. I'll get it turned on and warming it up, because it has been in the shed, it is absolutely freezing. So it's Tuesday morning, and I've just popped down to just see if there's any storm damage. You can see the polytunnel's lost its door a little bit, but that happens quite often. So looks like the compost bin's taken a bit of a battering, which has surprised me a little bit, to be honest. Yeah, I'm quite surprised that they've come out of their polytunnel doors open. But we're all still the same. To be honest, it's probably been good for the polytunnel to have a bit of ventilation. I'm not stopping here today, just a quick scoot around to check on things. Greenhouse looks fine. That's fallen over, but that's all right. Yeah. Gardening gloves are still in that bed. Yeah, everything looks all right to me. Nothing's really moved. Still everything's still here. I think my kneeling pad's blown over there, but other than that, we're all good. We're all good. Yeah. Well, that's a relief. I was pretty confident that the polytunnel would still be fine, because, you know, my dad made it. And when I say my dad made it, he actually made it. You know, he didn't buy it and build it, he made it. Like, at work. made the structure at work, you know. Did a great job of it as well, because I mean, the doors could do with some work. Obviously that door's a little bit wonky now, but that's a wooden structure, it's not going to last forever. But yeah, this, I mean, this is really I'm not going to say stone proof, because I may be proven wrong one day, but I don't think this is going anywhere. On the last video I got some comments about this shed, greenhouse, whatever you want. I call it the greenhouse. This also was built by my dad. So if you are new, this plot used to be my dad's. He had it for 20 years. And then almost a couple of years ago now, I took over the tenancy on it after sharing it with him for a year or two. So yeah. And I just love it. You can see the lime rendered walls behind. As I've said before in a previous video, there used to be a big greenhouse here years ago, and the ladies who lived locally used to grow flowers for the local cemetery in these beds. So one of the jobs that we would like to get done one day is to re-cement these beds and put them back into place. We're not allowed to use cement on the plot, but I think we'll be okay if we're replacing the things, fixing the things that have already been used. So you can see this bed's in slightly better condition, because that bed's been grown in a lot more than this bed. So yeah, all along there you can see where it would have been. So I love that about the plot. I love knowing the history of it. There's a lot to do this year. We're trying not to be overwhelmed by it, but I've just handed in the application for the fence, so hopefully we'll hear in a few days, or well, however long, and then once we've heard we can order it and get on with it. As soon as we get a bit of nicer weather, I've got too much to do today to start anything, but as soon as we get a bit of drier weather, I'll be back here getting these paths up and getting things done. I'm tempted, now I'm here actually, to remove that path as well. Although it's a decent path, that flag path there, this one in the middle of what was the brassica cages going, but that one there, kind of just think that this would make like a whole big area then, and then we could have the raised beds and the wood chip paths in between. I still want to keep this path, and obviously this is the part that Mark laid last year, and we want to flag by the door to the greenhouse there and get all that area flagged. It's kind of down temporarily, and replace things like these little bits with with some of the bigger stones that we don't need elsewhere. So yeah. Right, let's go back because I still haven't sown any peppers, aubergines or chilies and onions. So let's go home, get a cup of tea, get warm and get some seeds sown. Right, I'm back. I'm really grateful that there wasn't too much damage on the plot, nothing that a staple gun and won't fix. And just get those panels back in the compost base and they'll be absolutely fine. There was no actual damage to those. But I'm home now and I'm ready to sow some seeds. Now, going chilies and aubergines today, and I might put some onions in later on. But for now, it's just chilies and aubergines because I really want to get started on those. And I've promised my oldest that I will do sweet peas with her. So we'll be doing that next week. This week for us, next week for you. So yeah, we're going to do that now. I haven't soaked them in tea. I've decided not to this year. I am growing pretty much the same varieties as last year and they're the same seed packets. So we'll see if there's a difference. Obviously the seeds being a year older will potentially affect germination and how fast they germinate. I don't know. So we'll see how we get on anyway. But I've never really had a problem with germination. It's usually growing them from that seedling onwards and not getting leggy seedlings. I really, really want strong, healthy seedlings this year. So we're taking a different approach and I'll explain that probably in a later video what we're going to be doing. But the setup is on my dining table this year. Normally I have it in my bedroom in front of the window, and I think because it's a north facing window and there's light but there's not much light, they kind of stretch and reach even though there's grow lights. So here there isn't a window near them and I'm going to surround them with foil, but that's something we're going to do later when they've actually germinated, because obviously we've got to get them germinated first. So what they need at the moment is that compost, that moisture and that heat to get them to germinate, and then we'll think about light once we see those little seedlings. So let's go with it. Okay, so that's done. So I decided to do 2 rows of the baby jack aubergine because they're such small productive plants. I know a couple of people that might actually take some and grow some if they're only little windowsill plants. So I've done 2 rows of jalapeno, and then when I opened the packet of Chinese dragon tongue, there were none inside. So I've done 2 rows of California Wonder as well, because I might be able to give some of those away as well. Failing that, I just got some backups, and maybe I'll fit more in than normal. I usually do. Right, it feels good to have that done. I have not oversown this year, which I think is important. So I might have a couple of extra plants, which I always love to palm off on family and friends and insist that they grow vegetables. So that's always nice. Now this week's going to be, the weather's going to be a bit meh, but then at the end of the week it's going to brighten up, I think. So I will be at the plot doing those, getting those weeds out and getting those paths up. In fact, regardless of the weather, it's time for me to get there and get some jobs done, because although spring seems like a mile away, it's really not, is it? And it will be here before we know it, and there is a lot to do on that plot. So I hope you'll join me next week when hopefully you'll see some good progress. So thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. I would love to see you back here again. Hit that notification bell to be notified the next time I upload. Say hi in the comments, and please, if you're feeling generous, leave me a like, and I will see you hopefully next time. Bye for now.